And right now we are joined by Peter Shilaimon, one of the producers of the movie Forever My Girl, which releases on the 19th of this month. Thanks for being with us, Pete.
Thank you for having me.
This movie has something for everyone. Great music, romance, an amazing child actor, and a rebirth of sorts for a family as well. Maybe talk to us about what drew you into this movie when you first heard about it.
Absolutely. I think for me it was the idea of forgiveness and redemption, the prodigal son angle, but mostly it was really about forgiveness. I believe the greatest gift you can give anybody is to forgive them if they've wronged you. And I immediately fell in love with the book and then the script. So it was basic. And I also wanted to make a movie that families can go and enjoy. That's what led me to make it.
Now, the movie portrays a community that gets behind the main character, Josie Preston, played by Jessica Roth, after she's left at the altar, and it really kind of highlights a small town feel.
Yes, I think that's what another reason why I really wanted to make this movie. I'm from Iraq, and we have a very tight-knit community that really helps each other through crazy, crazy times. Yeah. So I love the idea of a community getting together and helping one of their own and helping them rise up after leaving at the altar. So that was really beautiful how the community of like 100 people get together and help each other out. I think it's very powerful.
Yeah, and maybe if you could tell us a little bit about your personal family story. You growing up in Iraq, as you mentioned, actually having to hide your faith, and I know you've produced a bunch of different movies, but one of those, of course, is Risen. Right. And maybe talk about that and how that's influenced you in your producing.
I think Risen was a game changer for me. I not only fell in love with the process of producing, but I completely fell in love with the idea of making incredible faith-based films that not only faith-based would want to go see. Risen brought in mainstream, and I love the fact that we can make movies that not only speak to the faith-based, but also speak to mainstream. And it was incredible. I have many friends that are Muslim and Jewish and you name it, Buddhists, and they all called and talked to me about Risen and how cool and powerful that film was, because I think you walk away from Risen asking questions. Whatever those questions are, you're going to ask them. You can't walk out of Risen and not ask that question am I a believer? Why am I have those feelings of like looking up at God and asking questions, doubters, whatever it is. You definitely walk away from Risen feeling that. You know, I'm from Iraq. I was a refugee, left the country in 1975, 74, 75, refuge to Greece, and from Greece, living hand to mouth pretty much. And then we moved to America in 1980, and we moved to Michigan, another tight, close community of Chaldeans, and then made our way into Anaheim in California.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you because you produced a bunch of different movies too, but talk about what it's like, putting these movies together and then seeing them come to fruition, like as you were talking about Risen, but even with this movie coming out too, Forever My Girl, what's it like to see the final product after you've worked on it?
There's a sense of pride, there's a sense of pride, the sweat equity that you put into a project, and you're waiting for that final moment where people get to experience what you've been experiencing for months on end. So for me, it's a very special process. And, of course, there's always that feeling of like, is it going to make its money back? There's always the economy behind the product, right? Yeah. But overall, I think to sit in with an audience and watch it for the first time, all I can tell you is it just feels you're just filled with pride. Yeah. You're filled with pride, and you hope that people go see this film and take something out of it. For this one, it was really about forgiveness. Yeah. And that's what I hope people take out.
And some great acting too. I just saw a clip that girl is great in the movie. I don't know her. What's her name?
Abby Kirstein. She's a dynamite. She's dynamite, and she was like that on set. What you see is what you get.
That's great.
And then Alex Rowe, who plays Liam Page, is just believe it or not, is British. Okay. And basically came into LD Entertainment where I work and blew us out of the water with his playing guitar and singing country music. And of course, he speaks to you in the British accent, and it's just it was weird. It It was weird, but it was, he's amazing and really practiced so much and learned the country songs and went to Nashville and really, really sank his teeth into what it means to be a country artist in Nashville. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. And then opening, where were you going to be for the opening of the film? And what would you like to
I'm going to be with the director.
Okay.
Our director Bethany and has invited us and everyone that was involved in the film to her house, and we're just going to sit there and we'll probably go see a showing at 8 o'clock in Hollywood, and then right after that we'll go to her house and hopefully celebrate.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Pete, for talking with us. Forever My Girl is the movie. It comes out on the 19th. Thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and I'm sorry about the Yankee hat. I won't do it again.
I was going to let that go, but...
I'm sorry, Boston. I love you. I love you, Boston.
We've been talking about forgiveness, and I forgive you, Pete.
Thank you. All right, goodbye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Now let's send it back to the rest of This Is the Day.